Welcome everybody back to Touchline podcast. Today we have quite a number of things to talk about. Personally, I'm not. I won't say I'm not in the mood, but clearly, if you're an Arsenal fan, the weekend has not been great. If you're a Chelsea fan, I presume you've had the best weekend ever. Um, and speaking about Chelsea and Tottenham, I don't know what happened in that game. Tottenham, we'll be talking about them, but pending to, I think it'll be good to hear from everybody and see how we've gone in our different times and different things we had to do during the week. Mr. Tunde, how you doing? Mr. Namdi, how you doing? Welcome, Mr. Tunde.
Thank you for having me. Welcome to this episode 3 of the fourth
Yep.
season. The week has been good. I can't complain. We played Atlanta over the weekend, and just as expected, I expected Atlanta to beat Milan, and which we did.
They've
Like
been
I
on
said,
good form.
they've been in good form. However, we've not been able to. I don't know the complacency that comes into our defense or the way our guys defend when we come under the slightest of pressure. And I don't know. Atlanta just needed. They didn't really do much. It wasn't like they were very very good on that night. We were just bad, in my opinion. Thank you.
Right, Mr. Namdi, you from your face we can tell you're happy, man. Today you're clearly a Chelsea fan. You have the jersey on. Um, it's funny because you've exchanged jersey. I think in the last episode you had AC Milan jersey, and today you gave it to Tunde, and you then adopted your proper club. So how have you been? Give us
Uh,
joyous
Good
news.
week
Or I
off.
don't know. You might have even had babies or had bought new houses just because you guys are second now. Like, all right, tell us, man, how have you
I,
been?
I can hear and I can smell the heat from over here. It's been a great week so far. Uh, Tough week. Very good results that came out in our last two games. Tottenham was always going to be a very difficult opponent, and the fact that we came out with 3 points is the best outcome. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how well we continue to keep on track with achieving our targets this season.
Right. Speaking about targets, I think for a lot of clubs, for a lot of teams right now, especially in top European leagues, I can argue targets are beginning to change. Targets are beginning to now conform. It's becoming serious. Things are looking real now. We're playing the league. For Arsenal, I've still kept the belief I still think we will challenge and win. Clearly, everyone can tell from our gameplay we play very good football, and adamant of the fact that we've not had the best of result. We play very good football in such way you can say yes, we're contending. But in reality, again, I have to be very, very frank. If Liverpool wins against Everton, that's almost 7 points. In Italy, I thought Napoli was, gone in for it with how they started, with the intensity they played with just how they found ways of winning. But clearly, in the last maybe 5 games, they've had that bit of brush up or call back to reality. And same goes to Germany and the Bundesliga. Spain, clearly, I don't know. I think Barcelona are still on track, but you can tell Barcelona just wake up sometimes on the wrong side of the bed, and they just play some very weird ways sometimes when you expect them to win. Well, to start our conversation today, well, first of all, look at Tottenham. So we will try to dissect Tottenham in the best of our capacity within time. We'll talk about the philosophy, the goals, ambitions, and the players, the coaches, the owners, most importantly. And I'd like for you guys to give me your in-depth take, at least for now, just to see how or where we can place Tottenham. Because in some dictionary, I think Tottenham will be classed as big team. But then again, looking at the way they play, you can argue Tottenham are not particularly there yet. I think in terms of being a business, they are one of the best run or driven business in the world. They make a lot of money, so much so that they are a strong contender, for European football teams and the kind of money they bring. You have to give Daniel Levy that. But in terms of the club itself, the way it's been driven on the field, there's a lot of problems, and I think rightfully so. I'm gonna try to not talk from sentiment. I'm an Arsenal fan. I clearly do not like Tottenham. Against Chelsea, I really wished both teams could lose. But in all fairness, I think maybe I might just have wanted Tottenham to do something. But again, it's Tottenham. You don't expect much from them. When you don't expect much from them against Manchester City, they go and destroy Manchester City with four. When you want something from them, I can imagine how their fans are going, through it. But I mean, Arsenal will be there, so I'm not too surprised. Um, Before we get to Italian League, Mr. Tunde, I want Namdi to just give us that full insight, give us everything he thinks about the team Tottenham having played them this weekend. Mr. Namdi, let's go.
So first of all, Spurs is a great team, and I think that the result that we had was always going to be going in either direction, and really what won that game was bad luck. It's kind of the same thing that happened last season when we beat them 4-1. They made the silliest of mistakes and end of game. And that's really how Tottenham season has been. When they are, going against the biggest boys, quote unquote, they tend to have some sort of pride or character, and then they get to London and they fumble. And that's just always been the story. I think from a philosophy perspective, Spurs has been like they stuck to their philosophy. They have played very well that philosophy. I think that they're just very unlucky first with injuries and with bad luck, in their most recent games. I mean, playing with the haphazard defense was always going to lose you. Like you don't have Romero or Mickey Van de Ven. Like how are you going to win the game? And then you come to Chelsea and you lose both of those players within 40, 50 minutes? It was game over. It was game over already.
Yeah.
And that is really what defined that win for us. Having said that, however, you have to give credit to Chelsea. The Chelsea players were really staying in the game after conceding two very, very, very careless goals. And really, that just defines the club Tottenham. They have a chance to make it work, and they let Hazard bomb them, and then they lose a whole title race. I'm just saying.
Now, good take on the game itself. How about the philosophy around everything? Okay, first of all, tell me what you think about Ange Postecoglou. And what you think he's doing and where you think he's going. Does he need change? Does he need adaptation? I'll give my take after everything. Go.
I think in a modern world where your ability to press the ball out of your opponent's legs most likely will determine how well you're successful in getting a result. Spurs has been able to take that to probably one of the few teams I think is to the extreme. And if that's the case, I would say that from my perspective, the philosophy is right for the manager and how they want to play. And to be honest, I think even the recruitment for this season has really reflected that philosophy. We press, we counter. You have Bernard Johnson, you have Son. All of them are just trying at you. I wish you all the best. You are going to get popped. But as always, you can't only press high for so long. And this was the same thing we said last episode about Liverpool and how they've changed their pressing scheme to a much more structured one this season. Because at the end of the day, a gung-ho, high intensity, high transition approach, it's fantastic for exciting football, but you will lose games where the team is ready for you or the team has gotten so used to being pressed and they are not going to lose the ball. And that is really what Tottenham is facing. Against teams that are not ready for that intensity, they quietly and quickly fall apart. Against teams that are used to it, they practically soak them and counter them.
Right.
And that's really their doing.
So is the coach meant to be held responsible for this, or the owners, or the players?
None. I think that the coach is the perfect fit for the team, and the players are a perfect fit for the coach. And
I think so. Sorry to call you short, but then again,
okay.
you look at the owner and how the hierarchy of Tottenham itself is driven. So I think I came across a video about Inter Milan, how they went from shambles to where they are now. Same with Arsenal, pretty much. For Tottenham, they've really been the same way the last 20 years, and they've just gotten away with it. For Arsenal, we had banter, we had so many, Inter Milan, and even AC. I think every big club, every proper big club gets that fun or gets that puck being thrown at. For Tottenham, they've gone away with it for more than 20 years, maybe 22 years. There's one single factor that has been, irrespective of all the coaches, the players, the result, the hierarchy, Daniel Levy. Do you think it's time for him to call it quits? Maybe hand over the ownership of that club to someone else that would be much more ambitious, in the sense wanting to win something rather than. I mean, we've seen them bring in coaches like Mourinho, Conte. Conte and Mourinho even said pretty much the same thing about Tottenham. And we're seeing it now. We're seeing it clearly. Nuno Espirito Santos, the present coach of Nottingham Forest, he also cited something like that, needing time and wanting to change the philosophy. But he wasn't a big coach, so I don't think we gave him that much of an ear. But looking at how this club has progressed over the years, do you think Daniel Levy, because I can agree with you, I think Ange is one of the best coaches for Tottenham. He just fits them. He looks like a Tottenham boy, which is why I don't like him now. Sadly, he's an Australian, but I'm trying. But, I just can't like anything Tottenham.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? But the hierarchy itself, Daniel Levy, give me your take on him and where you think that club as a brand and as a footballing team stands in respect to Daniel Levy.
I think that Tottenham are exactly where they're supposed to be. I think the first mistake you're making is that you are conflating Tottenham for a big club. They're not a big club. They are Tottenham. They are somewhere near the big four and somewhere above the. Always that's been their story for the past 20 odd years. And I think it's also unfair that we are saying that Tottenham has not been competitive. They have been highly competitive. They ran Chelsea down to the wire when Conte won his only league title with Chelsea. They ran Leicester to the wire until they fumbled when Leicester won their league title. Tottenham has always been in the mix of things. They have gotten to Champions League semi-finals and Champions League. I don't think Champions League finals, but semi-finals. And the last semi-finals they got to, they lost on literally was it the last minute goal or like the worst possible way to collapse? They collapsed. And so I think it's on
final. I'll probably be dead by now, but let's go.
No, 100%. But they got to the final and they lost their cool. That's no one's fault. They got to the big stage, and that is the description of Tottenham. I think that Tottenham is a well-run club, like you said. However, the level of ambition that they are exhibiting is the level of ambition they can exhibit.
Right.
And I think it's unfair that we are trying to make them bigger than what they are.
Well, they try to present themselves as that way, being big. Speaking about finals, all right, we'll go to Mr. Tunde and Italian League. They are used to championships. They are used to finals. Mr. Tunde, from afar, speaking from your knowledge about football, your knowledge about championship winning teams, and being a big fan of Serie A, where would you class Tottenham as a team, contending or pretending for championships?
In simple terms, I would say they are always pretenders. They are slightly pretending behind Arsenal. I'm sorry to bring in Arsenal at this point, but they're slightly pretending behind Arsenal. And the reason why I'm saying it is, I was making an illustration the last time we had on this I think the second episode of the podcast, and I said it gets to a time in the season during the course of the league where you are winning with the last straw. You're just winning with just 1 minute of brilliance. You are playing the 0-0, and then one person just comes in and then just gives you that one goal, and that's what Man City is lacking in this season. That's what Arsenal will lack at some point in the course of winning the league. The league is never going to come where you beat everybody 4-0, 5-0, 4-0, and it's just going to go like that all through the season. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So Tottenham are full-time pretenders, while Arsenal are part-time pretenders.
Well, first of all, I intentionally did not put Arsenal in this case, but you just found a way to bring Arsenal. We'll get there. Okay. Now, knowing they're pretenders, is that the fault of the hierarchy, Daniel Levy, or the philosophy of the coach and his gameplay, or just in general the players?
It has a little bit to do with the players. However, my analogy is always you can't keep doing the same thing the same way and expect a different result. Levy has been there for a long time. What is the result? 0 trophy. Their cabinet is as dusty as the desert. So we need someone with a new philosophy that can bring in and instill that winning mentality of guys. Even if it's the FA, we need something to come into this cabinet this season. And then those guys are going with the target. Unlike now, these guys are just going with it's just vibes. Let's see what's going to happen at the end of the season. They are not really that serious. That's why I said they are
just vibes. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when Arsenal was just vibes. Yeah, go on.
They press, like Nnamdi said, they press, but their mental strength when it comes to that pressing is not there. It doesn't come with an ideology. It's just, okay, what does the manager want? He wants us to press. Let us just go and press. And then they just press. They are not pressing with the consciousness of, oh, we have a league to win. Oh, we want to finish at this position by the end of the season. There's no target. So until they start playing with some sort of target right in front of them, I think they'll play a lot better. You can't tell me Son is not an average player. Son is a world-class player. He's very good. They've got a good number of quality players in their team. So I don't expect them to do for you to beat Man City 4-0, bro. You are not child's play. So I just feel Levy should step aside, let someone else with a different ideology come in, more that can give it a 50-50 of 50 for business and then 50 for trophies. Trophies actually make the difference. No matter how big Tottenham might be, you can't be as big as Milan, for crying out loud. You can't be as big as Milan. Trust me. And that's the way it is. If you remove Tottenham from Premier League and put them in a league that the Premiership is not, because there's a Premiership effect on most of this club. Trust me. If you put them in most of those players in there will not even go. They won't go. They won't be there because they can't attract them. But just mention Madrid. Everybody wants to go to Madrid. Milan, when Maldini was there, Maldini knew how to convince people to come to Milan because, yes, Maldini had the ideology. He knew what the goal was all about. Unlike the pretenders you have that then, Ibrahimovic, I'm sorry to say, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but Ibrahimovic was pushing, what's the name of that manager was pushing to us at that time. I was disappointed. So.
Right. Okay. I like your very straight to the point approach. So you think Daniel Levy, because unlike Mr. Nnamdi said, it's just Tottenham. I think Mr. Nnamdi has dropped the onus on us, the fans, saying we expect too much of Tottenham. And in a way, that makes a lot of sense because I think we do expect a lot from Tottenham. But then again, it's where they position themselves. Unlike you now saying Daniel Levy is the problem. Daniel Levy is the problem. Mr. Nnamdi, do you want to challenge that?
No. Look,
right. So you partially agree with that?
No, I don't have any opinion on the executive management of the club. I think they're doing a fantastic job.
We're trying to dissect the problem, and yes, they are doing it fantastic.
The problem is not. No, it's not just running your brand. It's all about being sustainable.
But again,
Spurs.
okay, sorry, go on.
So it's not just about running a brand; it's also being sustainable. And to be honest, from an objective standpoint, sports have been able to they've been able to maintain a sustainable roll in and roll out of very very good players. The difference between Spurs and maybe other teams that are winning titles is that while they've been able to keep that pipeline going, other teams that are winning titles they have that pipeline going. They're also able to go all the way to secure that 1 in a million player, and also turn that player into even a more effective player. So you can see all these factors factoring in. Look at, for example, we can say like Sunday said, Son is a world class player. Son will go to any team and give you 20 goals guaranteed. The difference, however, between Son in Tottenham Hotspurs and Son in maybe a team like Chelsea or a team like Manchester City is that whilst he'll give you 20 goals guaranteed in Spurs, he'll give you 20 goals guaranteed and Champions League in Manchester City. And that's just the reality. I think that Spurs, they've done a good job in being sustainable, in rolling in and rolling out talent. They've sold Harry Kane for 80 million? And Bernard Johnson has come in and scored a bunch of goals. Solanke has come in and scored a bunch of goals. Either of these ones can pan out to be the next starting England striker. But having said that, I think that Levy is always focused on being sustainable, knowing fully well that a punch above can win the title, but a punch above is not competing with Brighton. It's not competing with Newcastle. It's competing with the financial weight of Manchester City. It's kind of competing with Manchester United. It's also competing with Arsenal, who has spent 105 million on Rice and 60. Do you see the amount I'm calling? 65 million on Calafiori. How much did Spurs spend on defenders? 20? How much was Cristiano Romero? Those are the questions. So look, if they're able to, like, if a point in time happens where they're able to bring it together, fantastic. But I think to blame the ownership or to blame the management at the executive level for their sustained level of success, not tied to winning success, but success all the same, I think it's a bit unfair.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We clearly can go all the way with this, but I think whilst we certainly will come back to Tottenham, because it's a very big case to analyze, we would open a poll maybe on Bet Sports website or Twitter and have people give us their input before the next show. All right, you mentioned Manchester United not so long. I think Mr. Tunde will give us a very good analysis because he was quite on point in the last episode we did, speaking about needing to see the formula of a coach and needing the formula to be exemplified or played out against teams like Ipswich. Now, Amorims has had about 5 games and he's been able to conjure 2 wins, 2 losses, and I think a draw, if I'm not mistaken. Whilst that's not a bad sight for a coach, especially a coach of Amorim's caliber, coming into a project like Manchester United that's clearly not good, I think. It'll be good we have a practical insight and really check on where or how he will have to move forward with his style of play, his philosophy, his formula, his kind of players. So, Mr. Tunde, Amorim, Manchester United, and about 5 to 6 games in, what do you think?
Well, I think he is doing a good job so far. From the style of play of the team, I can see a manager with an ideology. I can see him trying to get the boys to interpret what is actually trying to say to us through his players. However, I don't think the players are intelligent enough to interpret what he is trying to push out to us.
Right.
I don't think his players are that. And I don't think the kind of players he has at the moment maybe that's the right word. I will be able to interpret exactly what it's saying. I'm sorry to say they are intelligent. So, however, there are some things that I don't excuse as a fan, and like I said it the last time, even if it will take you the last straw of your blood to beat an Ipswich, you should beat an Ipswich. If it takes you the last straw of your blood to not lose to a Nottingham Forest, you should avoid losing to a Nottingham Forest. See, there are a lot of smaller teams. See, it's easier for you to lose to the big teams and win all the smaller teams to stay relevant in the league. Lose up to the first 4 teams and then win the remaining teams on the table. It's easier for you to stay more relevant. But when you start losing points, you lost to Arsenal, and then you are losing to Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford. No, let us not start disrespecting ourselves. It's too early to start disrespecting ourselves. Let us know what we are there for. Let us know what we are here to do, and let us do it the right way. However, I will. A couple of players are actually standing out in the team for me. There's this Guinean, I've forgotten his name now. This very fast winger.
Ahmad.
Yes. I
he's
must. He's been very.
I think he definitely will be retained in that team.
In the team.
Yes.
And Bruno Fernandes, even though I don't rate him, but he will always look for a way to find his way into the team. Yeah.
He's quite good. Yeah. He makes mistakes, but he's quite good. Yeah.
However, I feel Rashford, there's a lot in Rashford, but Rashford needs the right manager to tell him and bring out that discipline from him. Not you can't even push because it's almost at the peak now, or if not at the peak already. So at this point, when you're at your peak, you have to actually decide to be disciplined. Nobody can tell you how to be disciplined anymore because you're not in your 22, 23, 25 or thereabout. You understand? So there's a lot that can be gotten from Rashford, but I don't know where the spiritual problem is coming from.
Right. Okay. Very, very good take. I knew you were gonna give something very wonderful on Amorims and Manchester United. But just before we get to Mr. Namdi, how about the style of play? Do you see it as something sustainable in the EPL? Do you think using 3 defenders, obviously with 2 wingers, wing backs, would be something sustainable to drive Manchester United to winning a championship? Now, I was in this chat a few days ago with someone very knowledgeable about football, and they mentioned Conte with Chelsea. And I then emphasized the difference between Conte and how we saw Conte play on that formation using Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso on either side. Those 2 players were born to do what they did in that team. They literally just ran straight and they never cut in. They were just running straight and back. Now, it will take getting those sort of players that would know, all right, my job would be as much attack as I do in defense and not need to score, not need to be there, because you put wing backs these days, they go in to make attempts. They go into, want to also grab a part of the show. So I had to use that to sort of shore up that conversation or discussion. And I think whilst the person and I argued for a bit, we eventually agreed it was a different ballgame. Marcos Alonso and Victor Moses were absolute immense for that team. As regarding Ruben Amorim, what do you think about that formula? Do you see it working? Do you see it sustainable? Do you see it as something that will bring in championship for the Manchester United faithfuls and, something that will take him on the long haul?
Yeah, I think he just made mention of exactly the things that I said. I said the quality of players to interpret what he exactly wants. And if you are not spoken about Conte, I was actually going to refer to Conte, that Conte did exactly the same.
Same,
And then
yeah.
people said, oh, it might not work, but then
And you won't-
at the
yep.
end of the day. And don't forget that football even has evolved from when Conte played to now. With when the likes of Victor Musa and Xabi Alonso, football was more physical than what we watch now. These days, the protection is just too much. And I'm not saying don't protect players, but then the slightest contact,
We'll get there.
the cards
Yep,
are
you're
flying
right.
around. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, however, the more reason why 3-5-2 should work now, because you are getting the protection. You are more protected. You just play to the instruction of the manager, and I don't think you should have any problem on the field of play. But like you said, the problem is most of the time when Dalot goes to the front, he wants to cut in and he wants to do some things. And then the moment you lose the ball, as a wing back, the moment you lose the ball, you don't do catch up. It's hard to do catch up. You understand?
Absolutely. I like that point.
And that is where the problem. However, I don't know who is faster between the right wing back and Dalot. But I think the right wing back is a bit more cautious in the way he mans his wing compared to the left wing. So
right. Very, very, very good take. Sorry, Mr. I'm the one sec, because I also cited that in a sense, if the wing back, going back to Conte, they need that sync. They don't need to score. They just need to run up, make the attack, and immediately get back, because you play against like of Arsenal on a good day. Notwithstanding Arsenal scored 2 set pieces, which we'll get to in terms of dark arts, but on a very good day, had we had a very good striker like Vlahovic or likes that, or Gyökeres that would take chances as they come, we when you meet a team that finds just 3 defenders and have 4 attackers running at you, you will crumble.
Sorry, Harry. Sorry. This thing you just said now has brought me back to the fact that you are beginning to admit that you need a standard striker.
No, we're not going there now. We're not going there now. We're not going there. We're not going there. Yes, I know that's an argument for ManUtd, but yeah, should Man U face an Inter Milan on full attack with 3 defenders, or a well-to-do Man City with 3 defenders, or even Tottenham, which they did and they lost, it's going to be very dangerous. Right now, Sanamdi is the Chelsea fan. He must have witnessed Conte do it, and he'll be in best position to explain to us how 3-5-2 would work. Notwithstanding, remember, LVG had tried 3-5-2. In fact, he was the first coach to really bring that philosophy to EPL, as we know today, in the sense he started preaching about it before he even arrived in England. So, Mr. Namdi, we acknowledge having won the EPL, as much as I'm not happy, I hated you guys that year, but you guys were clearly good at it. Conte was very, very magnificent. Like, he knew the winning formula with that. I was surprised Arsenal edged them to the FA Cup that period on that same formula. So give us your take on Amorim, Manchester United, the system, the philosophy. Not as deep as we went with Tottenham, but rather just on the footballing surface with the coach and the style and the players.
I think that when we're speaking about Conte's time using a three-man defense, we should consider that team was not a 3-5-2, it was a 3-4-3. 1, 2. He played a 3-5-2 in Juventus with a trio of Pello, Pogba, and Marquisio. Or Vidal, whatever. So he was very familiar with the system. 3, when he came to Chelsea, he tried to play, I think it was a 4-2-4, because he was trying to use that formation that he used in Juve, where he had Krasic on the right, and I can't remember who was on the left. And everybody was just kicking him. It was in mid-game in Arsenal that he switched to a 3-man defense. And then that's where he continued from there. Now, so
yeah, we like this. You guys 3-0. Please say that, because when you guys want to bash Arsenal, you guys say it. But when there's something good to talk about Arsenal, you just quickly. I have to cut there. I'm so sorry. We won you guys in that game 3-0.
That's okay.
Yes.
You won 3-0. Chelsea changed their formation. They took over the league, and everybody started playing 3-man defenses. But hey, I mean, if you can't win them, join them.
True.
My point is that Amorim's system is one that changes the way Manchester United has played for the past 2 seasons under Ten Hag. They tried to be possessive with the ball. They lost all fluidity because they were not made for it. So Ten Hag tried to he tried to make the football more effective. That did not work. And that brings us back to my I think my statement earlier, like in the last episode. Amorims system can't translate, but it will take time. It will take patience. So I think that looking at Manchester United and their ability to go all the way or succeed in any form this season, we should be looking at how well the results start to be towards the end of the season. Not now. Right now, they're in their taking form. Everybody that has shown capability has shown capability. Amad Diallo's ability has never been in doubt. It's just that Ten Hag locked his destiny somewhere in the bottle, which is one of the reasons why I hate. I'm serious. I'm sorry. I'm not a Man United fan, but I know that Amad Diallo had the ability to be quite effective. But somehow Antonio was starting game in, game out. And the fact that he's playing at the right wing back and he is so dangerous tells us that basically they've wasted him for 2 odd years.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the reality of the Manchester United that we are looking at right now. Amorim has the ability to ensure that the right players get time, improve. They improve their ability on the ball, and they become a much more effective team down the track. So that's my take. I think that Manchester United needs to be given time to get to where they think they can. And if they are given that time and that patience, Manchester United will come they'll be back in contention as one of the big
teams. Right.
Big teams in EPL.
Looking at both points you guys have made from different lenses, I think it's very, very much correct. But I think I'll stand more on maybe Mr. Tunde's side in the sense, well, first off, the EPL is very intense. There's a lot of running. So we're talking Crystal Palace, Ipswich, Wolves. These teams, they will run at you. They will not give you that time to explore. And you were very, very kind to mention it being 3-4-3. That's right. He did change to that formation against Arsenal, which we won you guys 3-0 with Sanchez, Ozil, and Walcott scoring. Yeah. We need to put that. But I think the formula in itself will work, like you said, in terms of long term on the longer. But it's something that has to start sort of showing or giving the light right now, especially against these smaller teams, because those are the teams he's gonna have to play pretty much 80% of the time in the league to then call it a formula. And these teams are not letting anyone, go scot-free.
Run them over.
So, yeah, absolutely. I think good takes either ways. Just so we move on, and we'll probably come back to that point again during our open session. But for the next point, let's talk about the likes of Atalanta, Chelsea, Frankfurt, Marseille. These teams, they're becoming maybe the league's underdogs now across Europe. So, in terms of where we had our lighter spar, who will win the leagues respectively, it might be time to actually reconsider. And this is after about 15 games, which is very, very much an ideal time to make that call now, because we are beginning to see what the league. I personally think Atlanta can win the league. They absolutely can win the league in terms of sustainability, like you say, having all the players in check. And I don't think their players even gone injury. I'm not going to stand here or sit here and make a claim I've known Atlanta. Like, we know them, but it was against Arsenal I began really picking on them. So even when they won the Europa League last year and FIFA Club World Champions, Super Cup, I just did not give them that light of the day as in a big team. But now they look very serious. They look even more serious than many teams we thought were going to contend. In your own light, Mr. Tunde, we'll start with you because Atlanta, of all the teams, have one of the best forms. So we'll give that privilege to the Serie A. Give me your take. Are you seeing them getting to that final point with how they play? Do you think you are convinced with what you see? Do you think they can be well-to-do champions at some point, or do you think they will break? So,
But just like you said, you can't play the whole season without losing a couple of your very good quality players at some point. I don't know what the team is going to look like. Just like you can see, once Milan can't play with Pulisic, there's a whole lot of problem in the team. We act like we are not, because Pulisic seems to be like the only discipline, the only consistent performer in the team at the moment, and then he seems to carry the team on his back, and is even the least person I expect would do such in our team. But for a team like Atalanta, yes, Lookman is good. Lookman is a vital part of the team. However, they seem to know how to get their results even in the absence of some of their top players. But
yeah,
I'm still not going to say, because if you look at the log at the moment, Inter is just 2 points behind Atalanta, and they still have one goal at hand to play. So if they can win the match by 3-0, Inter will be at the top of the table, and you know what it means when Inter gets to that position at the top of the table. No matter what you try to do, you're just deceiving yourself. Inter they are a very good team.
yeah, they are
On and off the field, their mentality is crazy.
strong. Yeah,
And that's why I tell anybody anytime, Inter is one of the teams at the moment that I know will face any big team. If Inter is playing Madrid tomorrow, I can't even put my money on Madrid. If Inter is playing Man City tomorrow, I can't even put my money on Man City. Like no team can push them aside. No team. I'm telling you, even if Arsenal had Odegaard, they will find it hard to beat. I'm not saying they can beat Inter, but they will still find it very hard
you're right.
to beat Inter. Inter
It was a
knows
very
how to
grounded game.
understand. They know how to understand what you are coming to do, and most of the time, their aim is to counter what you are coming to do and get one goal. They have very good players in the middle for crying out loud. Barella is I respect Barella as a world class player, in my opinion. He's a world class player. Because you would see some things that I would do in the game. He's a player that can change the course of the game. Like he's a player that is one of those players that you can always bank on when everything is tight. He can just come up with one thing, and then it's not Messi, but then in Inter Milan standard is their Messi relatively. You understand what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah,
Inter is still in the race.
right. About Chelsea?
Napoli is still in the race. Yeah. So for Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea will. All this tempo. I told a Chelsea fan over the weekend. I said, "See, Chelsea, just get Palmer injured. You will see what the true Chelsea team
It
is
does
all
hold a
about."
lot for that team. Yeah, true.
He holds a lot, and you see, I play football, and I know what it is when my team is losing by 2-0, and Toby, who is the best player in my team, is still on the field. You are playing, and then Messi is not injured yet. You know something can still happen. That is how Palmer is to Chelsea. Once Palmer gets injured, you will see what will happen, and just mark my words. I know it's going to happen sometime during the league.
Yeah, it will.
I don't think because they need to. That's the difference between them and the likes of Man City and Liverpool. They have the reason why Man City is suffering at the moment is because their first, second, third choice to play that position is injured. It's not because Rodri is injured. Kovacic is also injured. You can't have your first choice and the second choice being injured. It's going to affect the course of this. And I know I mentioned Lewis not ready for the big stage yet the last time. And you can see it has happened. I'm not saying you shouldn't score. That is not your job.
True.
That is not your job. We have to define people by their job. Maybe I'm too Italian for my analysis. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The likes of Frankfurt, Marseille. Did you see them contending? Frankfurt is second on the league. Marseille is second on the league with about 4 points.
Frankfurt is good. They're a compact team. I've been watching them lately. I see the way they play. But
Yep.
the big team mentality, there's just that thing that Bayern will have, that Dortmund will have over them, that we just change the course of everything. They are good, trust me. Very young players. I think the average age is about 25. They're very good, trust me.
They are good.
Very
Yep.
good. But the mentality. Over the weekend, their keeper just lost. The keeper just lost concentration. They conceded 2 goals, and that was it.
Right.
Those things will not happen for a very big team, because everybody has to play together. Everybody, we are going for the same goal.
You're right when you say as a big team they would have to be very careful. But Neuer, you saw his very, very clumsy mistake in last game where he had the red card.
Leverkusen.
He's finished.
Against Leverkusen. But I don't know.
I support you. He's finished, but they just don't have faith in another goalkeeper.
Exactly. That's
to take that realm.
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah.
We'll probably add that to one of the next topics we'll chat about, in later episode. But yeah, Mr. Namdi, what about you? I think your sentiments are going to play here. Being a Chelsea fan, he has been trying to downplay it for me. When they won 4-3, and obviously I drew 1-1. I sent him a message in the morning. I said, "You guys are contenders now. You guys are second. I mean, being second, you are pretty much contending." And he's like, "Oh no, we're humble. We are not there yet." I'm like, "Who's this one trying to, so that when they win, he would then come to me and say, 'Oh yes, you guys are us now. You guys are pipes. You guys kind of, that approach.'" But all right, do it here now in the cameras. Let's see, because.
Thank you very much for giving me that wonderful intro. Yes, I disagree. I disagree with your position. We are not Arsenal. We just played Tottenham 4-3. We considered 2 foolish goals to 2 caricature, for lack of better, the most comical errors because of soccer boots. And yes, we came back with 4 goals, fantastic play, 2 penalties, one that I called soft one before we started the introduction. What I'm trying to say is that the Spurs game is as much a comedy of errors as like taking advantage of mistakes or taking advantage of bad luck on your opponent's side. That is the reality of what that Spurs game was. Granted, we won against a big opponent, but the truth was that if that opponent was a bit more careful, we're most likely down and out. We just like everything, and this is the thing that I think Chelsea fans are very aware of. They are happy that they're getting results, but the mistakes are glaring. No Chelsea fan wants their team conceding stupid goals. No Chelsea fan wants their keeper making the most comical of mistakes game in, game out. Let's see, the worst keeper we've had in the last 20 years, and I'm saying that for added effect, is the keeper we have now. Kepa was not this bad. Kepa was bad.
Added effect. We take that. We'll clip that out and make something of it.
You can't see me wink. No credit.
Right.
My point is, I think most Chelsea fans will say the same thing. We are happy that we are getting results, but we know where we started. We know that our expectations have to be carefully managed so that we arrive at the finish line with everybody's head on their shoulders. There's so many examples. There's so many reasons why a Chelsea fan is not overtly celebrating. There's a reason why we are saying we're not tied to contenders, because the people that are contending for the title are steamrolling everybody, including Real Madrid. So we are not there yet.
You guys,
Arsenal. We're being realistic. Right. I think we're being realistic in the fact that right now we are overachieving based on how these things normally happen, based on the level of level of instability at the helm of the affairs, based on the fact that that we bought 2 billion worth of players. The fact that we are second is not as a result of that. It's despite that. Everybody is keen to get things straight. Everybody is keen to make sure that Nonima doesn't lose his head again and puts his head down and shoots anyhow just because he scored 1 hat-trick. My point is that there are still flaws in our delivery of games. We are winning, that is fantastic. But there are still flaws in the way we start games. there are flaws in the way we proceed games, and then flaws in the way we end games.
Right.
Thank God the minutes ran out against Spurs. If not, it could have been a 4-4 game.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
If you saw the third goal, you would have seen that.
True.
That third goal was the most careless of defensive errors. What? Right. You left somebody to be... There were two people staring at that ball. The person in front of the person that scored the goal. I don't know if you're... So these are errors that we're not used to this. But that's my point.
Errors are very, very... No, you're right. The
errors are glaring. And
it's so clear. Yeah, you're right. So in that note, you're saying there's no point reconsidering anything yet. Chelsea are not contenders. All right.
I think that Chelsea should focus on what their focus was at the beginning of the year.
Right. Okay.
Top part the best. Now we know we tried our best. We're back in Champions League.
I think 2 billion worth of players will definitely take you to FIFA, the new FIFA championship they are doing, man. You guys have so much attacking power in your team. Top 4 should not even be the goal. But yeah, how about Atalanta?
I'm an Atalanta fan. I've always liked them. So when you said you knew Atalanta this season, you saw the shock on my face. I've known Atalanta since Joseph Ilicic, Alejandro Gomez. I mean, it's a bit confusing. But having said that, I think that
but they were just that mid-team. All right.
No, not mid. Atalanta has always been what can best be described as a hipsters team.
So I'm not a hipster, around 2-3 years ago. 2-3 years ago, Atlanta, Sassuolo, before Sassuolo went down. Those two teams, they were teams that were just haggard against the big teams. I didn't think they were ever going to. I'm telling you fact, because I know Atlanta. I followed them. They were one of the teams that you were sure of, both teams scoring. I didn't want to bring all these things in this episode of podcast, but I know them well. But I won't sit here saying I thought they were going to win, be number one on the log for Serie A. Looking how Juventus has sort of rebuilt with how they started. You're looking at Inter Milan, obviously Napoli and Conte. You had Roma. Roma have had their issues last year, but I wouldn't have thought prior to maybe last season that Atalanta would be one of the teams that would take Serie A apart. That's what I meant. But yes, they've always been there. But I think 3-4 seasons ago, Atlanta, Sassuolo, they were teams that just had that very annoying way of playing the big teams. That's where I put them in. So yeah, go on. You're right to make your claim.
So I think that Atlanta they've done quite well this season on all fronts. And look, if they falter at the end, it is what it is. As Tunde said, it is what it is. Because I said that Inter, they are a different machine. They are very structured. They have gotten to the Champions League final. They have lost out in the Champions League semi-final. They are a winning team as it is. But you can't fault a team that game in, game out, they come against any team and it's the same. They are bringing forth the same level of performance. We're talking about Atalanta here, and that's the way I see them. I see them taking Inter all the way, or whoever attempts to come up to that level of we want to win the title. So I see them taking them all the way. You can't fault them in this Serie A title race.
How about Frankfurt and Marseille? Anything to chip in there? I think this was really good.
I posted something on YouTube that I know how to defend Mamouchi's goal, and somebody said that I was being proud. It's simple. Like, it's a very simple thing, but like I said, these are two teams that are, again, hipster teams. They've done quite well in taking games by the scruff of the neck. Marcel, as always, highly representative of the De Zerbi system, who is not a favorite of mine, by the way. I do not like De Zerbi at all. Like, when he was in Rome, I thought he was a waste of talent. Student knows what I'm talking about. Like, I did not like him. I was like, well, you are so hipster that you are ineffective. You're right.
But I think his players this season have really turned up for him. You look at the Manchester United reject, Mason Greenwood, how he's played and really turned up. I think Greenwood might be eligible to get a big time call up again, both in for a big team, and yeah. But okay, we've had very good things to talk about. It's good to have people that I don't even feel like time has gone. Jumping into the next topic, well, we're getting to that point where there's this new thing trending on social media about dark arts and people. By the way, would summarize it after the next topic, but yeah, I think we've had a very good chat. Now, with the issue of set pieces and dark arts, I think on social media they've painted Arsenal as the worst team. Um, I don't have much to say there other than corner kicks are part of the game, free kicks are part of the game, and if you know how to utilize it very well, you should utilize it and get your goal, get your 3 points. Against Fulham, we scored a corner kick, and on Twitter, everything went bizarre. Corner kick FC, corner. And look, I don't care if you want to sing, if you want to banter us now, if you want to banter us, do it. If we can score, we take it. There's a picture I saw where other people see corner kick, Arsenal fans see corner kick as penalty. Look, give me your take on this. Mind you, I want you guys to go back to 2003 to 2006. There's a single player that I don't know if you guys will mention. For almost every free kick, it was bound to be a goal. You guys know this player very well, and you guys Juninho. Well, there was no social media then, so there was no sound of dark arts. But Juninho, at least from what I know about him, I mean, obviously that was around the period when we started watching personally from the early 2000s. But Juninho scored free kicks better than he could even do things normal. So it's part of the game. You scrutinize and utilize, maximize every part you think can give you an added advantage to the game. What do you think? Just give us. We'll have this also as a major topic in one of our open discussions coming up. But yeah, give me your 2 cents in it.
So my 2 cents. Like you said, it's part of the game. Anything that you can do within the length of the pitch and can get the ball to cross the line, the full ball to cross the line into the net, do it. If it's by you using your tongue to push the ball, do it. If it's by you trying to frustrate the other team members so that you can bring down their morale, play into their psyche and get your goal, do it. As long as you're getting, see, the aim of players standing at both ends of the field is to be able to get the ball through across the line. It's not how many people you can dribble. It's not how many passes you can throw. It's not how many, it's about how many goals. The goal is the aim, is the end goal, is the end product of we going to the field to play. So I don't care. However, I noticed Adama Traore understood the assignment in the game against Fulham.
Yeah, Fulham.
In the game Arsenal played against Fulham.
Yeah.
There was a game he actually threw Saliba out of the pitch. Yeah, he threw Saliba out of the pitch because what Arsenal does is they run into the front of the keeper, impede the keeper from being able to jump. I've seen it happen. It happened against Man City. I think I saw another.
And after then, that's just one of the few things they do. It's not the main thing they do. We don't always impede the goalkeeper.
Relax. So what I'm saying is, it's only a matter of time. Everybody will start doing it. And when everybody starts to do it, then the general complaint will be, oh, let us stop. If we are stopping, are we going to take away all the goals that these things had scored? No, we won't do it. So it's either we are clamping down on it and say, yes, you can run, you can put yourself somewhere and run into the field, but don't impede the keeper. I don't think it's not fair. And I think it's not fair if you are impeding the keeper to get a goal at the end of the day. However, like I said, if corner is the only way you can score. I remember at the time, Stoke City at the lap. And the only
throwing,
thing, once you get a throwing was like penalty to them. When they throw the ball into your box, they will, in one way or the other, they will get a goal.
They would score, yeah, true. We suffered from that. Arsenal suffered from it, man. Yeah.
So that's why, in my opinion, I would say Arsenal a very good team. I still don't believe they are more complete. They are the most complete team at the moment. I feel Liverpool is more complete, like I said the last time. However, trust me, I give it to Arsenal. Arsenal, they are doing a good job. This is their time to win the league. This is their time. Everybody is struggling. Chelsea is struggling. Man U is struggling. Man City is struggling. Tottenham is struggling. The only thing that is not struggling is Arsenal. You guys cannot win the league, and then I feel there's trouble. No, trust me.
All right,
I feel there's trouble.
We'll come there, but I don't know. You didn't mention Liverpool there. I don't know. Are Liverpool not part of the English league?
You don't believe Liverpool are contenders, anyways. You don't believe they are.
Well, personally, I don't. But then they are still in real life. They're on top of the table. So, all right, Mr. Namdi. At least we know Mr. Tunde is not worried about the dark arts, the set piece FC, the corner. How about you?
When we talked about Arsenal, in inculcating set piece into their repertoire of ways to score, it was expected to be included as one of the ways, not the only ways. And having said that, I'm not criticizing. Personally, I think that if you any way to score, you score. Impede the keeper, score a Panenka, score. Cross and node, score. Insofar as defective, score. Having said that, however, it needs to be. Personally, I feel that it needs to be considered that this is much ado about nothing. Arsenal have just found a way to score goals, and now it's being over-popularized like every other thing about Arsenal. The only thing that's over-popularized about Arsenal is them winning the title. And that's my point.
It just goes to show you where
Arsenal has transitioned from a team who plays beautiful football and won nothing to a team who is pragmatic and will still win nothing.
Well, we'll see there.
I'm not being derogatory. I'm simply stating the facts. In the stats today, it shows that Arsenal generate more chances based off set pieces than off open play.
It doesn't.
You guys are basically Chelsea without the results because you drew to Fulham. And the reason why you drew to Fulham was for two reasons. One, I've said this before, that combination of Saka, White, and Odegaard is one of the most deadly areas to attack from in the league, if not in the entire continent. White is out of the picture. All Fulham had to do was frustrate Saka and Odegaard. Game over. You now resorted to set pieces. Again, I respect it. Me personally, I'm a set piece merchant. I've done that in every game I play. Set pieces are my thing. And as a Chelsea fan, you know how we've used set pieces. Remember the braided guy, the guy with the braids, the Drogba, and all those is nasty free kicks. So, but the fact remains that Arsenal is not a team that should just be involved in dark arts. The dark arts should be part of the repertoire. It's about winning, not about using. No. When all things fail, eventually they will catch you. And that's my take.
True. So I think as regarding the Touchline podcast, we have no problem with set piece FC.
No.
Okay, good.
I think it's part of the game. Free kicks, indirect free kicks, throw-ins.
Good. It's part of the game. I just thought we clarify as to be experts with analysis and the game and using our knowledge of the game. I think seeing a lot of people complain is just really appalling and disappointing. Knowing corner kicks are part of the game.
If you don't mind,
advantage. Good. Go on.
If you don't mind, we are not complaining about the fact that he's in corner. It's just that you spent 20 years saying that you're a football purist and you want to play the game the right way. And you gave us the vibes that we're going to win the league.
I was going to move to the next topic, but it seems like you guys need me to do something. Do you know in this season we've played about 21 games. In 75% of those games, Arsenal has held both possession and chances created. What do you mean?
We created? Arsenal has lower.
Even against Chelsea, we played much more better than them. Chelsea knows this. Like, we ought to have won. This is the part. Sadly, I have to agree with Mr. Tunde in the sense, if we had a dirty, stupendous, out and out, someone that doesn't care about the team, he just wants to be the highest goal scorer, we easily could be 9, 10, 15 points ahead of the league now, because even that Liverpool game, we ought to have won them. So don't come here and say we created a repertoire of playing. We play, but what's getting to people now is Arsenal. Not only do we play good football, we now have different ways to win. These are people like Mr. Namdi are the people that during our worst days they said, "Oh, Arsenal are not mature. We are not. Even you, Mr. Tende. Oh, Arsenal are not mature. They only know one way to play. When they meet Stoke, they get bullied. All right, now we play against Tottenham. Have you seen the heat map of Arsenal Tottenham? Go check almost 75% of the 2021 games we played this season. We've literally dominated in almost all the games. So don't see. I'm gonna drop this anchor position and start arguing with you if you want, because
I will just state stats. This was a statistic from an Athletic article that came out yesterday. How title rivals create chances. Arsenal XG open play per game 1.06. XG set play per game 0.58. Chelsea XG open play per game 1.77. XG set play per game 0.24. Liverpool XG open play per game 1.6. XG set play per game 0.26. Manchester City XG open play 1.49. XG set play 0.4. Do you have any other question? Thank you.
I do. Now, it does. What you've said there just only, in fact, makes us now the most balanced team amongst the four. Mr. Tunde, am I right?
Arsenal is generating more high quality chances. Arsenal is generating more high quality chances with set pieces and generating lower quality chances in open play. And you want to win the league.
We'll come back to it, because I don't want to get too annoyed or hyped and take this to another level.
It's all right.
Now, all right. Take a deep breath.
That's all right, yeah.
All right.
The one that is breathing. Me, I'm calm.
To round up now, because it's been a very, very good episode. I'm chatting with you guys. To round up, I think we have Champions League coming. This is the Champions League week, and we have some games in play today, tomorrow, and Europa and Conference League coming up. So let's just wrap it up with where what we think about Champions League standing. Maybe if you want to chip in the new system, which I think is already an old argument, because a lot of people are beginning to actually enjoy this new system, and some traditional people like myself, I still think the older system was a bit, better, because we had to play like Inter Milan coming to Emirates. I don't think they would come and win us. I'm very, very certain of that. But I can say that anyway, anytime. Just to sum it up, looking at Real Madrid being number 24 on the log and possibly not qualifying. And we had the comments of Ancelotti a few weeks back, in the sense, doesn't matter where they finish, provided they qualify, they probably would still win the competition. He's very bold, he's very strong at what he says, and he has the data and the history to back himself up. He's Madrid. If Madrid actually says they will win this Champions League, they can. At least they would go to the very final stop and challenge for it. So, you just give me that league sum up on regards of the table. If you have the table graphics open, you can use that to talk. You can speak on Real Madrid position, analyze, and maybe say your part or your scope around the top 8, if there'll be any major changes, and definitely the mid-16s, knowing the mid-16s are going to play the playoffs and then qualify to meet the top 8 for the round of 16. So let's end this very interesting episode on that note. I think I'll give the floor to Mr. Anam the first. Since it's Mr. Pragmatic and wanting to call XG, like we are not the Henry, take a deep breath.
You're not second. You're not second in the ladder. Calm
Take a
down.
deep
You're like
breath.
third.
Take a deep breath.
You're
Take a deep
third.
breath.
Calm down.
Okay.
You're third.
All right. Let's talk about Champions League. Go on, Mr. Namdi.
Respect. I'm done. I think that Madrid will probably do the most to qualify. I think they are. Yes, they've had their struggles. They've struggled particularly with the absence of Vinicius and the present absence of Mbappe. But I think that eventually they will, if they're able to scale through at least to the playoffs. I reckon that if eventually it will all come together. If it doesn't, they've lost 1 year. There's always next season.
True.
That's my take. I think this format has been fantastic. It's created a lot of chaos, and it promised a lot of chaos, and it's giving us the chaos that we deserved.
Yep.
So definitely, if they decide to go back to the previous format, I think it will be a wasted experiment because this has been great. Madrid is fighting for their life. Monaco is 8th. Dortmund is 4th. Atalanta is 5th. Leverkusen is starting to look like Leverkusen. Leipzig 0 points. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I was surprised about Leipzig not being able to get any point.
I think it's one of those times where they are not frying on all cylinders, or people just like everybody. The schedule is a bit too stressful for them, so I can't wait to see the next round of games.
They argued last year. Sorry to cut you short again. Pardon me.
Okay.
They argued last year they had quality players in the likes of Šeško and Openda. So
Šeško is tricky. Openda is Openda,
right?
And Šeško is always been tricky.
Right. Yeah. What are your take on the top 8? Do you see changing after tonight? And do you think? Well, you've given your take on Real Madrid. I'm hoping Real Madrid doesn't qualify, so it becomes an open league. Because if Real Madrid is in that knockout stage, there's a good chance Real Madrid win it.
Nobody's winning anything.
Right. How about before we round it up, Mr. Tunde, Milan is number 16. Speak on your position and on the general topic.
Milan being in 16th, I feel they will qualify at the end of the day. There's either one way or the other. We always have to find a way around it. The DNA is there, and the DNA will always speak. So we will find a way around qualifying at the end of the day. I'm not saying we're going to win. Don't get me wrong. I said we will always find a way to qualify. So, and I don't really raise the expectations for my team that high. So whatever comes out of it, I'm happy with it for now because I know what we have. I'm not deluded, so I'm not going to be expecting Emerson Royal to be prime, Daniel Alves overnight, and then start doing the right crosses because I feel it's worse than what we used to have before. And look at our centre backs for crying out loud. The young kid that scored the 2 goals against Madrid. What's his name? I'm very bad with names. The young kid that scored the 2 goals against Madrid. He's one of the most inconsistent centre backs that I've seen all my life. So these are the things that when I look at, I feel really bad for the team because we had a project that was going very well for us. I mean, very, very well for us before they shelved Maldini aside. I'm just praying that they will wake up when they come back to their senses and bring him back. But like I said, it takes a champion. It takes somebody with a winning mentality. For crying out loud, do you know how many Champions League he has? Maldini. If Maldini comes to you and say, I have a project, I want you to be on this project, the kind of attention it will get from it. If Maldini were to be in Milan, we would have probably signed Thuram instead of him going to Inter Milan. We almost signed him, but then because we were not serious, we were just being lackadaisical with everything. So I feel they will do things. However, I feel Madrid will come back. The only problem between Madrid coming back between Madrid and them coming back is Mbappe. Mbappe needs to sit down on the bench and watch these guys play. He needs to understand how they play. I think probably they were too much in a hurry to, we have Mbappe, let us play. No, let's watch these guys. Watch Rodrigo play. Watch even Ibrahim Diaz. Watch how they make the runs into the box. Not you. You are not in PSG for crying out loud.
True.
So
True.
I feel they can do things, but they need to come back to reality and say, okay, these are the players we have. These are the things we can do with them. Let us do it with them. Then Mbappe can come and complement whatever it is they are doing, at least for now. Because Mbappe seems to be more of a liability than a star in that matter.
True. All right. Pretty take, speaking particularly on AC Milan and in respect to Champions League. Very good. Are you satisfied with the system? Do you like this new system? Good.
Oh, the new system. Yeah. I like the new system actually.
Oh, okay.
You know, I told you, but even though I told you the last time, I said I wish Inter could play Arsenal the week like almost immediately after they play the first leg.
I really would have wanted Inter to play in Emirates.
So that Inter can get the 6 points. However, like I said, I thought
that's cool.
It's going to happen, and I like the fact that you are not giving the team the tempo of we just want to play Madrid, play Barcelona, play Inter, play everybody. No, you get the big ones, you get the small ones. There's a mixture, and that's the reason why Madrid are not getting their rhythm. If they had probably played the big teams back to back, at some point they would have said, no, we can't lose to this. No, we can't lose to this. We can't lose to this. But because they feel, when we come to the field, what can Lille do to us for crying out loud? Lille is a small team, and Lille chucks them 2-0. Oh, no. Okay, what can Dortmund do to us? That way is to keep catching them unawares. Especially the league now will make you more serious. Most teams are now becoming more serious. That's why nobody, aside Liverpool, that is probably has 100% results. There's no other team in the league that I think has 100% results.
Yep,
I don't think
that's right.
So
okay, very beautiful take. I like the structure. I just think there's some games I would have preferred to have that back to home game, away game, just so we can put respect where respect needs to be. Especially against Inter Milan. I just think in England because that game was so boring and annoying. But I think that's the plan, like you said, Inter Milan came with, because they figured this is what Arsenal would do, knowing fully well Martin Odegaard was not around. Okay. Very, very good chat with you guys. Definitely love talking with you guys. Just before we go, I'll call out some of the big games we're expecting to see today, tomorrow, and you give me your predictions. And I think on that note, we will call it a night. We've had very good chat spanning into about an hour, 20 minutes. Well, starting with Bayern Munich go away to Shakhtar Donetsk. Where do you see that game going, Mr. Tunde?
It can go either ways, but I see more goals in the game. It's going to be probably over 3.5.
Over 3.5. Mr. Namdi, what's your prediction around that game? Win, goals?
Bayern win.
Bayern win. To score. Both teams to score. Okay. All right. For the bettors, it will be good to listen to Namdi on that. Atalanta, Real Madrid, which I think we've spoken about. We've mentioned those two teams the most on this podcast, on this episode. So where do you see that game going to?
Me on that 2.5.
Okay.
I feel my instinct keeps telling me that Atalanta would want a revenge from what happened to them in the Super Cup.
Yep.
However, Ancelotti is under pressure to get a result at the moment.
And they're not going to sack Ancelotti, though. Are they crazy?
Are you kidding me? Madrid doesn't respect anybody. They'll sack you. They don't care. They'll sack you to get anybody they want. They've got the money. They've got the influence. So it's not about And so nobody's bigger than Madrid. That's what you should know.
True.
Nobody's bigger than Madrid. Yeah. So
right.
I will say 2-0 Atlanta.
2-0 Atlanta. Mr. Namdi, you said under 2.5, so we're looking at the same predictions there. Okay. How about Barcelona Dortmund? Barcelona is going away to Dortmund. Where do you see that game going? Mr. Namdi.
Okay.
Barcelona is going away to where?
Dortmund. Yeah, very, very sweet tie. Barcelona to win.
Yep.
That's bold, Mr. Tunde. Do you second to that?
I don't. I think the game will end in a draw. Barcelona are very, very, very on serious side.
Right now. Yes.
I don't know what their aim in life is defensively. They don't know how to. They can't even defend to save their lives. I can imagine the kind of goal they consider to Betis over the weekend. The lad at the decks. Yeah. You can't do that. I've seen them throw 2-goal leads away back to back. This season, probably twice or thrice. And you can't do that as a big. And that's why I keep saying this as a big team. There's some things that's expected of you. If Inter should catch you 1-0, bro, that's it. If they want to beat you at 1-0, that's it.
Speaking of a team that has so much in defense and it's beginning to look like a problem, Juventus. Mind you, on our ticker, there's a part where Juventus sporting director Cristiano Giuntoli admits imminent changes are coming, but Juventus may be in crisis. Juventus have played so much defense that now it's looking in. Do you know what? Juventus, a draw is almost a real result now for Juventus. They just they don't score to win. They score to give their defense that shield, knowing, okay, these people can score us, but then we'll then lock up. So Juventus Man City, very, very good tie. Mr. Tunde, Mr. Serie, give us your prediction.
Vlahovic is back. You can't blame Juventus. They've not been scoring goals because they've not had a striker for like almost 5 games now. They've had a striker. But now that he's back, I expect them to do things, but I still expect a draw because even Man City they don't seem to be serious at the moment. So
that looks like a draw, isn't it, Mr. Namdi? Where do you stand on that game? Draw. Right. Very bold prediction. But yeah, I support you guys with draw on that because looking at Juventus stats, they really, I would think defense was something to be proud of, but now they are just a defensive. Their fans are beginning to have problems. All right. Last but not the least, I couldn't live without talking about Arsenal. I'm sorry I didn't bring Milan into it. Milan, they're not playing someone serious. They're playing Krivna.
Milan should win.
Milan should win, right?
But I thought you were going to talk about the Leverkusen Inter Milan. They are playing tomorrow morning.
Leverkusen Inter, that's a good tie. Where do you see it going? So I just mistakenly had skipped that.
Well, it's I would say under one.
Under one.
Really risk it. Under 1.5 goals.
Under 1.5.
The game is going to end 1-0 one way. Either Leverkusen scores or Inter scores.
Because Leverkusen is a team that can score goals. Inter Milan is a team that can shore up any form of goal. So, but under one is too tricky, man. Under one.
I know it's very tricky. That's why I said if you really want to risk it.
About Mr. Namdi. Both teams score. I see that happening. Over 2.5. Maybe not. All right. Arsenal Monaco. Where are we standing on that? In the Emirates.
Arsenal will win. So I know your plan. Arsenal will win.
No, actually, I was just saying that.
Arsenal will win. Monaco at the moment, they are a shadow of themselves.
Yeah, they started very well, but they just sort of dropped off that picture. They are third on the log in Ligue 1. About Zanamdi, where do you see the Arsenal Monaco's game going?
Now, Arsenal have a better chance of winning the game, but given that they tend to flounder again in against easy opposition, and the fact that we need to consider Monaco is 8 on the log.
Right.
Arsenal should be careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think
Set pieces might not work this
win.
time. Okay, I'm done now.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Arsenal will win, and we should win that game comfortably. Yeah. On that note, we've had a very good chat. So much so it's led us into 1 hour 24 minutes, and we still look like we actually did not even get to one of the topics, which would spiral into the next topic, next episode. But yeah, during our open session and maybe subsequent episode, we'll try to see how we can limit the time. But it's been really good speaking with you guys. The pleasure is all mine. Anchoring the show. I'm very sure, yeah, would have quality from these episodes, especially knowing Chelsea in the last 20 years have had the worst goalkeeper in Sanchez right now. That would make it good.
Have you forgotten Almunia, Fabianski?
I was just trying to wrap up. Hold on. I was just trying to wrap up, man. You didn't need to go out.
I was chilling on my own. You guys go and look for trouble. You're not complaining.
That's not we'll find how to make that work. But yeah, it's been nice speaking with you guys. Thank you guys, man.
Take care.